In I Love You Forever, Sofia Black Delia, she plays a 25-year-old college student who is kind of attracted to the bad guys. She doesn't have a very good dating history. She's been seeing one guy for 2 years. He sees her as basically just a hookup, not a serious relationship. I think she wants more from him, but he kind of just uses her for sex. One night at a friend's party, she meets Nicholson. He is a journalist. He's like a news presenter. So sometimes you'll turn on the TV and he's on the news presenting a story. Sofia and Ray, they meet at the party. They have a nice chemistry, and they get each other's number, and eventually they go on a date. They form a romantic relationship, and it's quite sweet at first, but after a while, Ray Nicholson, he shows his nice guy side. He starts to become very, very obsessive, calling her all the time and sending her so many messages, and calling her if she doesn't send him a message within 1 hour, or if he will become so obsessive and just that crazy personality. I Love You Forever is directed by Elisa, Kalani and Lizzie David, and this film is their directorial debut. So Hollywood basically stopped making romantic comedies in the last decade or so, because they all go pretty much to streaming now, and the quality of the romantic comedies on streaming is not very good. They're all like low budget, sometimes have stars, but usually it's low budget Hallmark type of romantic comedies that are on Netflix and stuff like that. So the romantic comedy is kind of dead at the moment. If you see what's coming out on Valentine's Day, it's horror movies. Romantic comedies, except for maybe like Bridget Jones' Diary, they're pretty much dead. So romantic comedies didn't really get a chance to tackle modern dating. Like modern dating is just basically just apps, like swiping on the apps, and your whole life revolving around social media. So we have young people, like teenagers and people in their 20s. Their whole life revolves around social media. It's just part of life. Like you can't avoid it. Everybody has social media, and it's just a part of life. Compared to like older people, like for me and older people grew up, we still use social media, but it's not such ingrained in our blood to use it in part of our life as it is in younger people. So romantic comedies in Hollywood have never really had a romantic comedy where the characters in their teenagers or early 20s, their whole life revolves around social media and meeting someone from the apps, and meeting somebody where you're sleeping with him and he picks up his phone and he has Instagram, or his whole life is on his phone, so his whole personality is on his phone. So you can just tell who he is, and just by just lying next to him and seeing what he's doing on his phone. Some Hollywood comedies have tackled a little bit like the app, but it's mostly just unrealistic for comedy. Like you'll see one woman, she swiping on apps and she's going on multiple dates with like extreme like all these guys who are like really, really bad, and it's kind of just used for comedy. It's not really used in a realistic fashion. So this I wouldn't call it a comedy. It's called a mix between romantic comedy and drama. It really tackled the use of social media and smartphones with young people in such a refreshing way that I haven't really seen much from Hollywood. This film, I Love You Forever, it starts off, maybe the first half an hour, it's kind of like a romantic comedy, and she's met this guy, Ray Nicholson, and they it starts off very charming, and you think, okay, well, this guy seems perfect. He's good looking. He has a good job, and he seems to really like her. But it seems okay. It's very early on in the movie. It's only been half an hour, and okay, it must be some kind of conflict coming because. But then we realize this is not really a romantic comedy. Sofia, she has these kind of like obnoxious friends, two best friends that we see a lot, especially in the first half of the film. We kind of think of why is she friends with these two people, but maybe she grew up in high school with them, so she can kind of accept their faults and their bad things, so that makes sense. But as a viewer, it's kind of think, oh, these guys are very obnoxious but they are very witty and quick-witted. So they are entertaining to watch, but just as a person, Sofia seems quite like a nice, normal girl. Why is she friends with these two people? But when this film gets serious, it gets serious very quickly. Like Sofia and Ray, they are dating, and it's very nice. And then they go on like quick trips together because Ray has to travel a lot for work. So sometimes she will join him in a hotel room, and then the joint spend time together. So they do go on many trips together and spend a lot of time together. And then very quickly, and once Sofia goes back home by herself, very quickly he starts to become obsessive and very, very extreme, and like shouting and saying, I'm a nice guy and I'm the best boyfriend and you don't care about me. And it's very, very extreme, very, very quick. And for me, it seemed like it came on very, very strong, very, very quickly. But I think there are guys like this. There are a lot of guys like this who just bombard you with this extreme obsessive behavior. It's a sort of manipulation, and it was quite confronting in this film. Of course I've seen this type of man in films before, but in this film it's quite realistic, and Ray Nicholson's performance, he is very, very good, and it was so confronting to see this type of man in this type of film. And it goes on for a long time, almost an hour. So this obsessive behavior starts about half an hour into the film, and then the film is about 1 hour and a half, and we get titled like about after the 1 hour mark, we get a title card saying 6 months later. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe she must have broken up with this guy, because how can she deal with this behavior for so long? She must be going crazy. And then 6 months later, she's still with him, and I think maybe he's kind of dialed back this behavior a little bit, but of course it comes back again, and then once it comes back again, it's kind of like playing the suicidal card. Or if you leave me, I'll kill myself, and I'll jump on the balcony and I'll use a razor or something. So he's done this behavior so many times in so many relationships, because he can very easily get a girl. He's good looking, he has a good job, and he can pretend to be a nice guy for a short time to get into a relationship. So he's done this so many times, I assume. So after 6 months, he's still with him, and it doesn't take long for him to show this obsessive behavior. He's traveling for work, and Sofia is back home studying at college, and she's meeting with her friends, and her friends kind of recognize that there's something up with this guy. But Sofia is hiding his personality. She's hiding a lot from her friends, and this is another part of the film that is very, very well done. Sofia knows this is not normal behavior. This is like, she doesn't want to get out of the relationship. She has feelings for Ray, but she knows it's not normal. She knows some part of her wants to get out, and part of her doesn't want to get out. She's exhausted, but her friends know something else up. But Sofia, she's hiding a lot from her friends. Her friends are concerned for her, but they kind of like just it's none of their business. They try and let Sofia deal with it by herself. They try not to butt in. And then in the final act of the film explores that when Sofia has gotten out of this relationship, she still feels like it was her fault, and she finds it very hard to deal with that she's not with anymore. Like it's her fault that he has problems, and that she thinks that she's not worthy for a relationship. She deserves like shitty men. So that the film explores that very, very well. And Sofia does end up getting back with that hookup guy who she spent two years with. But it was nice to see her finally just like enough. You kind of see like a light at the end of the tunnel at the end of the film. She like, okay, my self-worth is better than this. I can't just be a hookup for some guy. So it was nice to see that she finally sees her worth at the end of the film. Sofia Black-Adelia is probably, I think this is the first time I've ever seen her. She's very, very good in the film. She's quite charming. She just plays a normal girl. We characters, we don't really know or learn much about her, except her personality. Her personality just comes through in her relationships, but we don't really know anything about her really, except that she's a college student, like a law student, I think, and so we don't really know a lot about her. Her character is not very well written, but Sofia does the best with what she's got. And Ray Nicholson, I've seen him in a few supporting roles in films, but in this film he really impressed me. He really can switch from charming to obsessive very, very quickly. So I can see why Sofia, her character, would fall for him so deeply. I give I Love You Forever 3.5 stars out of 5. I would recommend checking out I Love You Forever. It really it starts off quite cute, like a romantic comedy, but then it gets serious very, very quickly. I love how it shows modern dating for young people in their 20s that we really don't see in Hollywood films, and it really it shows Ray Nicholson's obsessive character was really confronting, and it's not really something that we've seen before in Hollywood films. So that was really nice to see. And it might seem too much. You might think, okay, it's obsessive relationship with Sofia and Ray. Well, it does get repetitive, but I think that's intentional. It's to show us that it's not easy to get out of a relationship like this. So that didn't really bother me. So yeah, I would really recommend checking out I Love You Forever. It's quite a refreshing take on the romantic comedy, modern dating genre. Thanks for watching. What did you think of I Love You Forever? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.